Hello and welcome to Military Mayday, where we're pointing out a few pieces on the chessboard. Um, I've read over some stories about this before, about U.S. being attacked by other proxy groups, basically. And here's their final response. This has not stopped and we will respond, U.S. says its military is targeted in Iraq and Syria. Let's see here. U.S. military has blamed other Iranian-backed proxy groups for near-daily attacks against its forces in Iraq and Syria. U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria have been attacked with drones or rockets at least 27 times in recent days, a Pentagon spokesperson said on Tuesday, as cited by the Voice of America report. U.S. personnel believe that retaliatory action is required before more powerful weaponry is used against the U.S. military. The U.S. military has responded with precision strikes against facilities in Syria tied to Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps and affiliated groups, but the attacks against American personnel, while largely unsuccessful, have not stopped, according to the Voice of America. After nearly 30 days of continuous attacks on American military vessels, American Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has warned, if this does not stop, then we will respond. Senior Republican Senator Marco Antonio Rubio expressed concerns that responses to attacks on the U.S. military have not been strong enough. I actually kind of agree with that, to be honest with you. Rubio believes if we do not have a credible deterrence with Iranians, these attacks are going to escalate. Rubio, speaking in a video posted on the Voice of America website, claimed that Iranian-backed proxy fighters will involve a weaponry of increasing sophistication and lethality. With Israel intensifying its regulatory assaults on Hamas targets in Gaza, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to travel to Israel and Jordan on Friday. The Secretary will meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu and our leaders of the Israeli government to receive an update on their military objectives. 15 Israeli soldiers so far have been killed during their ground operations of Gaza. 15 deaths, mostly the infantry soldiers, were the first casualties inside Gaza, publicly confirmed by Israel's military since it launched a ground invasion on Friday. The IDF confirmed the death in battle of 2 additional fallen soldiers, Times of the Israel report. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that the IDF is making immense achievements in its ground operation in the Gaza Strip. I'm impressed by the activities of our forces, he said in comments during an assignment held near the Gaza border. This is a determined, decisive action. There's a strong cooperation between ground and air forces. Meanwhile, Secretary Blinken and the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin testified on U.S. President's USD 106 billion emergency aid request that would provide military and humanitarian assistance to Israel and Ukraine. 106 billion. Why does Israel need that much money? They got their own. Most of the people working our money system is Israeli born. They're American citizens. Yellen, all those. Blinken said in his history that he believed that the aid would show enduring support for the countries. The 106 billion, 3.7 billion would be dedicated to. Oh, okay, that's USD. Of the 106 billion, 3.7 billion would be dedicated to Israel's security needs, including bolstering air and missile defense systems. In total, USD 14 billion will be directed to Israel. Another 50 billion of the funding will be replenished to U.S. military stocks, strengthening our domestic defense industrial base, and we will spend through American businesses, Blinken told. It will be spent through American businesses, Blinken told the Senate. American businesses are giant defense contracting companies. You decide. This here, I had to agree with Rubio for once that, they need to nip this in the bud now or it's just going to get out of fucking control. And then we're going to find ourselves in another 9/11 situation for the U.S. And those are our boys and girls there. I don't really want them there, to be honest, but they're there, so they need to be protected, in my opinion. Got another one. This is a very long read. I'm not going to be able to get through all of it. IDF soldiers fend off nighttime Hamas ambush as battalion commander killed in Gaza. Fierce battles continued to rage in the Gaza Strip Thursday, with troops fighting off a vicious overnight Hamas ambush, and the military saying it was using artificial intelligence to identify thousands of new targets belonging to the Palestinian terror group. The Israeli Defense Force on Thursday afternoon announced the death of a senior officer during fighting in Gaza, bringing the military's death toll to 18 since Tuesday and 333 since the beginning of the war. 333? The Army said ground forces and tanks clashed with Hamas terror cells in the northern Gaza Strip overnight, killing dozens of operatives in what the Times of Israel has learned was an intense and chaotic midnight battle that raged on for over 3 hours following an ambush targeting soldiers from Golani's 13th Battalion. In a statement Thursday morning, the IDF troops from the Golani Infantry Brigade had taken part in the prolonged battles against Hamas terrorists who had fired missiles, set off explosive devices, and hurled grenades at the forces. The Hamas gunmen tried to ambush the Israeli force at midnight, emerging from tunnels and attacking them with anti-tank missiles, mortars, and drones. They tried to enter the armored personnel carriers and take control of them. More than 20 terrorists were believed to have been killed, and several managed to escape, while there were no Israeli fatalities in that fight. The military said the Golani troops fought back, assisted in artillery and tank shelling, and calling in an airstrike and missile strikes by the Navy. At the end of the fighting, dozens of terrorists were killed, the IDF said. Yeah, you call in airstrikes, you're going to get some. The IDF said it has continued to strike Hamas sites in the Gaza Strip, including weapons manufacturing, storage facilities, anti-tank missiles launching positions, and drone launching positions. Later Thursday, the IDF's military intelligence directorate said its so-called Target Center has identified some 1,200 new Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip amid the ongoing ground offensive that began last week. The military intelligence directorate is using artificial intelligence and automated tools to produce reliable targets quickly and accurately. Well, there we go. There's some use of artificial intelligence. They're using it to produce reliable targets quickly and accurately. Let's see. Let's go down here a little bit. The casualties underline the threats soldiers are facing as the army shifts to fraught urban combat in Gaza's crowded streets after weeks of punishing air campaign. The urban combat zone is thought to be awash with bombs and booby traps and undercut with a vast network of tunnels used by terrorists to ambush or surprise troops. Yeah, they do. Some of the fatalities came during the major IDF assault Tuesday on Hamas Central Something Battalion compound located at the Something refugee camp in Gaza. Israel is battling to destroy Hamas and end its rule over the Strip after the group's devastating terror attack earlier this month. Also on Thursday, IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said that the military had notified the families of 242 hostages and their loved ones for being held in Gaza Strip, up by 2 from the previous tally. He said the number was not final as the military investigates new information. The number does not include 4 released hostages, mother and daughter Judith and an elderly woman who was rescued by the IDF on Sunday night. There are still dozens more people missing whose fates are currently unknown. Let's see here. Hamas authorities claimed Thursday morning that the power generator of the Indonesian hospital in Beit Lahia in the northern Gaza Strip had gone out of service. Gaza health officials have been warning that hospitals were in imminent danger of closing since the first day of the war. Health Ministry spokesperson Aquata said in a televised statement that the Indonesian hospital is running on a smaller backup generator, but had to turn off lights in most rooms, shut down oxygen generators, and resort to oxygen cylinders, and turn off mortuary refrigerators. Stinky stink. While some aid had entered the blockade of Gaza Strip since the war began last month, Israel has not allowed trucks to bring fuel, which Hamas needs to run the ventilation and electricity in its vast network of tunnels. Yeah, they are cutting them off and ain't allowing nothing in. There's some more news for you. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Toodaloo.